Welcome back to Sunday Pips, reviewing pairs for this week. AUD CAD, we took a loss, but it should be pretty easy to make it back. Next week's opportunities look absolutely beautiful. And of course, if you want to know what pairs I'm gonna pick, subscribe and turn on that notification bell. Weekly time frame, we were retesting around psychological level 91.000 and also retesting this beautiful area of interest. We have resistance, support, resistance, and support. We go down to the daily time frame. We were accumulating at that area of interest. Accumulations are good. It means price is charging up to either do this or this. Most of the time it tends to happen in the direction of the trend, and since we were bearish on most of the time frames, I expected for that to happen to the downside, but it looks like I was wrong. On the 4 hour, we were bullish. This was the higher high and this down here was the higher low. I anticipated for 4 hour to shift bearish, give me a pullback, and on this pullback we go down to the lower time frames. Let's go to the 30 minutes since it looks the cleanest. On the 30 minute, we were creating lower lows and lower highs, market structure, and then we shifted bullish to create this 4 hour pullback. And since we were at this area of interest, we look for that shift of structure. Let me zoom in. This was the higher high and this down here was the higher low. We body candle closed under, shifting bearish. Now we look for our entry signal, an engulfing candle. Beautiful engulfing candle happened on the 1 hour, took the trade, went into profit for a little bit, and then price reversed. I expected for this 4 hour pullback to happen. Every time we're at a lower low, always expect for a lower high to happen. And every time we're at a higher high, expect for a higher low to happen. That's just how the market move, but I never expected for this to happen. I think good news happened. Maybe Joe Biden fell off his seat. I don't know. I don't look at news. I heavily rely on technical analysis. But there's this website thing called Forex Factory. I hear that's where most traders look at news. I'm gonna leave the link in the description if you want to check it out. And if we look at the size of the candle, this is why I think this was caused by news. If we compare the size of the candle, it took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles just for price to get to a 1-to-1. But then it took 1, 2, 3 candles for price to get back to my area of interest and past it. So that was great. Awesome. And then GBP JPY played out just like AUDJPY since they both end with JPY. Weekly time frame, we were bearish and we still are. Lower low, lower high, bearish. Daily, bearish. Loved this doji we created. And this bearish candle, it meant that we were rejecting this area of interest and run psychological level 800. We go down to the 4 hour. On the 4 hour, we were bearish. This was the lower high and this the lower low. I told you how I think that this pair was gonna play out first. I was waiting for a shift of structure on the 30 minute right here. This is where price was at. I told you I was gonna wait for a shift of structure for 30 minutes to close under the higher low. This happened pretty fast. As soon as the market opened, we created this huge candle to the downside, but luckily on the 4 hour we created a pullback. Created a pullback into our area of interest. We go down to the lower time frame, same thing as AUDJPY. Strategy never changes. We were creating lower lows, market structure, and then we shifted bullish, body candle close above the lower high. We look for that shift of structure. Just zoom in, higher high, and this was the higher low. We body candle closed under, shifting bearish. We look for the engulfing candle. We go to that 1 hour, had this beautiful engulfing candle, but I never took this trade because whenever I'm in a trade, I was already in AUDJPY. Whenever I'm in a trade, I don't take trades on other pairs. I don't think if that makes sense. For example, if I'm in AUDJPY, I won't go take trades on any of these pairs, even if they get ready. I'm always in one trade at a time. Why? That's just how I learned how to trade. It's kind of a rule for me. And since I never took this trade, I'm gonna just remove this risk to reward. And yeah, see that same strategy won this trade. Not P&L wise, but I predicted it. Same strategy, just happened to lose. That's why you never wanna change your strategy just because you took a loss. Just remove that, and I'm gonna remove. And take profit was perfectly placed at a level of resistance. Support. Let's look at it on the daily time frame. Support, resistance, very respected area of interest. AUD CAD weekly, loved how we were retesting around psychological level 8,000, retesting this beautiful area of interest. We have support, and we kind of body candle closed under, so this don't count. We go down to the daily time frame. We were accumulating between these two zones. On the 4 hour, I was waiting for price to break under, retest, to then for me to look for sales. We almost broke out. I definitely thought this had done it, this engulfing candle on the daily time frame. But we go back to the daily time, the 4 hour. The pullback ended up happening too deep, and we just went back to consolidating in between these two zones. And since price never did what I wanted, no trades were taken. GBP NZD on the weekly time frame, I anticipated for this to create a wick into the zone, retest around psychological level 700, retest the previous structure point. We go down to the daily time frame. This would have given us a perfect pullback into the zone, and it would have retested the EMA. On the 4 hour, this wick would have created a beautiful higher low and a beautiful higher high into this area of interest. Then I would have waited for the shift of structure, a pullback, then look for sales. We created the higher low, technically not a higher low since we never broke above the higher high. We almost did. As you can see, price was starting to climb back up, but it found some resistance at this little 4 hour area of interest, and no trades were taken since price never did what I wanted. NZDJPY weekly, we were bearish, and looks like now we are bullish. Let me confirm that. Okay, this was the lower low. I hate when this happens. Okay, lower low and lower high. Looks like we closed above, so we are now bullish. On the daily time frame, we were above this strong area of interest. We have support, resistance, 3 touches, valid area of interest. On the 4 hour, I was waiting for it to break under, retest, to then look for sales. We almost broke under right here, but it never made it through. It would have been cool since it would have given me a perfect left, right, and head. Let me do that again. Left, head, and right shoulder. Would have looked for my sales at this potential lower high on the 4 hour. At this head and shoulder would have just given me more reasons to take that trade to the downside, but never played out. Too bad. NZDCAD weekly time frame. Is this the same pair that I was just on? Oh, it's different. They look the same. NZD CAD weekly is now bullish. We body candle closed above the lower high. We are bullish. Daily time frame, we were always bullish, and on the 4-hour we were also bullish. I expected for 4-hour to break under the higher low, shifting bearish, and then wait for a pullback, and on this pullback go down to the 1-hour, look for the shift of structure to then look for sales. And price never did that. I strongly believed that we were at that point where weekly could start creating the new lower low, but it looks like I was wrong. And this is the beauty of the strategy. There's probably somebody out there that took a buy on this using the same strategy I'm using, the set and forget strategy. And here's what I think they did. Their thinking process. Okay, we had daily bullish and the 4-hour bullish. We mark off our areas of interest on the daily time frame. This looks like a clean area of interest already. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4 touches. Very, very valid area of interest. And since the weekly time frame was bearish, we didn't need it. We exclude it. We just focus on the time frames that are bullish, that are confirming our bias to go long. So they probably went to the 4-hour, saw this beautiful 4-hour pullback into the zone. Let me see if there's a round psychological level in here. And if you don't know what a round psychological level is, it's basically any number that end in 0 or zeros with a S. So this is around psychological level 82, 100. So beautiful pullback into the zone. Got here, we go down to the 1-hour, we look for the shift of structure. Let me see if it happened. 1-hour, we were bullish, small pullback, higher low, small higher high, shifted bearish, continue creating lower lows and lower highs all the way back into this area of interest, and then we shifted bullish right here, clean buy. This is probably where they took the trade. Let me see if they got an engulfing. Yeah, right here on the 1-hour, clean. We engulfed the red, beautiful. They were thinking buys, I was thinking sells. Sometimes it's all about just what you think. CHF JPY weekly, we were bullish, and it looks like we're still bullish. This is the higher high, and this down here the higher low. Loved how we closed above the previous structure point and had this beautiful red candle pullback. We go down to the daily. We had this beautiful pullback into the zone, retesting around psychological level 900. Let me see if this zone is respected on the daily. We have resistance, support, and support. Beautiful. We go down to the 4-hour. We were creating higher highs and higher lows, and then we shifted bearish. We understand why we shifted bearish. We shifted bearish to create this pullback into the zone on the daily time frame. We continued creating lower lows and lower highs all the way back into this area of interest, and since we were in a clear downwards trend, I anticipated for 4-hour to break out of it, retest, shift of structure on the 1-hour to then look for buys. We go down to the 1-hour, good. Zoom in into this 4-hour pullback. We go down to the 1-hour to see if we ever had the shift of structure. 1-hour, we were creating higher highs and higher lows, and just like what I said for the daily time frame, the 4-hour shifting structure to create its pullback. 1-hour does the same thing for 4-hour, shifted bearish to create this 4-hour pullback. Got to our area of interest, shift of structure never happened. We just continued creating lower lows and lower highs all the way down here, and by the time when we were like down here, we had shifted bearish on the 4 hour. This was the higher high and this was the higher low. A shift of structure looks so small as a confluence, but it can actually break or make your trade. Without a shift of structure, you never know if price is done pulling back. The only way for us to know if a 4 hour pullback might be done pulling back is for a shift of structure to happen. A shift of structure lets you know that this 4 hour pullback might be done pulling back. Enter your trades, blah blah blah, and then set and forget. Life is easy. CAD CHF and NZD CHF are the two counter trend trades I said I was gonna observe but not take any trades on them. NZD CHF, we look on the weekly time frame. Whenever we are at a major lower low on the weekly time frame and then get a blue candle, the next blue candle that follows creates a small pullback and then heads up. That pattern kind of repeats a lot. For example, right here, blue candle stop, small wick pullback, goes up. Blue candle stop, small wick pullback, goes up. That's the same thing I expected to happen right here, and it played out perfectly. We go down to the 1 hour. I anticipated for 1 hour to break out of this little trend to the downside, retest, and I said it should make it all the way up here, and it looks like we did. If you took this trade, you would have been in drawdown for a little bit, but that's why we say set and forget. Take your trade, throw your phone out the window, go get it back after your trade has hit take profit or stop loss, depending on what day it is. CAD CHF, bro. When I looked at these two pairs on Sunday, the way they looked the same, I thought they were correlated. Small trend to the downside on the 1 hour. Small trend to the downside on the 1 hour. Higher high on the 1 hour. Higher high on the 1 hour. I thought they were correlated, but now look at this. Completely played out the exact opposite. This went down and this played out perfectly. If you took this trade, you hit take profit. Perfectly. Congratulations, you made money. Okay, we look at CAD CHF. There should have been 0 reasons to take this trade. If you took this trade, you probably then became the next Elon Musk, living in a box outside. There should have been 0 reasons to take this trade. We never broke out of this trend, like I said, but right here we broke out. Never got a engulfing candle as an entry for your entry. Here we got it. Beautiful engulfing candle on the 1 hour. And what else didn't we get? This just didn't follow what I wanted. There should have been 0 reasons to take this trade. And then AUDUSD and NZDUSD are the two pairs I said I might add to my watch list during the week, but I ended up never adding them because they never played out exactly how I anticipated. We never pulled back into the zone, but I kind of understand why. I think price just found support, an area of interest somewhere above what I already marked up. Let's see if it did. Yep, right here we have support. If I drag this to the left, let me see if we got a third touch to confirm that this is a valid area of interest. So support and resistance, a valid area of interest. That's why I never made it to my area of interest. It found support somewhere around here. 4 hour, we shifted bearish to create this pullback to this area of interest. What did daily do? Daily, once we got to this area of interest, we created this beautiful pin bar, and then the next candle filled it perfectly. AUDUSD played out the same. They look the same. Same thing. I think it found resistance somewhere. Found an area of interest somewhere above mines. Let me see. Let's drag this to the left. We have resistance. Yeah, resistance, and support. Beautiful area of interest. That's why price never made it to my area of interest. Pull back into this zone instead. And on the 4-hour, we shifted bearish to get to the zone, and since we had weekly and daily bullish, we didn't need for 4-hour to be bullish too. You go down to the lower time frames. Let me see if we ever had the shift of structure. Beautiful. 1-hour shifted bearish to get to this point, and then we had a beautiful shift of structure. No, the shift of structure happened right here. Lower low, lower high, lower low, and then we shifted structure right here at this blue candle. So depending on where you put your stop loss, you probably got wicked out. Yeah, you probably got violated. I'm sorry, bro. Let me see if NZDUSD did the same thing. We got to the area of interest. 1-hour shifted bearish. The shift of structure on the 1-hour happened way higher on NZDUSD. Alright, thank you guys for watching. That's it. That's all the pairs from last week covered. Let me know down in the comments how your trades went, and if you took any or if you lost one. Just drop a paragraph explaining how your week went, and I'll very much appreciate that. Peace.